The difficult thing about being asked to give a little testimony about answered prayer is to decide which one, because life is full of answered prayers. But I just picked one, or maybe he picked it for me. I'm not sure. But it was about a young man who was critically ill, one of our young men, and we had the prayer room full of people. Every hour of the day and night, they were praying for this young man that God would spare his life. And I was down in the prayer meeting along the corridor in the church. And there were about 20 or 30 of us in there praying. And the telephone rang at the end of the corridor. And so I went and answered the phone. I can't remember who was on the phone now, but they were ringing to tell the prayer meeting that they'd just received news that the doctors had said that there was nothing more that they could do for this young man and that he was not expected to last the night. And so it was terrible, bad news. And I put the phone back on its cradle and turned to go down the 2 steps and down the corridor back to the prayer meeting. It's about 20 yards. And as I walked down those 2 steps, something amazing happened. And I absolutely knew in an instant that he would live and that he would not die. And so in the 10 seconds or so that it took me to walk back to the door of the prayer meeting, I opened the door and I was supposed to be giving them terribly bad news, but I felt elated. I felt victorious and strong. And I just said to them, well, that was, the doctors have given up and they said that he won't last the night, but he will. I know he will. I know he will live. And we stood together in that prayer room and praised God with all our hearts. We just magnified the Lord and thanked him for victory. And in the morning, not only had he lived, he was improving by the hour, and he made a full and complete recovery. The thing out of that little testimony that affects me the most is how I suddenly knew. And I thought to myself, that must be what real faith is. And the thing about it is, it didn't come from me. It was nothing to do with me. It was something that was suddenly planted by God in my spirit. And the young man recovered. So this is not just a testimony about answered prayer. I want that. I want that every time we pray. I want to know the mind of God. I want to see what God intends to do before I pray it, so that I can pray with complete assurance. God bless you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.